Yes, ma'am.
No, I'm gonna stream now, so don't be asking that, okay?
Hmm.
Okay, so I think we're streaming. Let me just check. We're gonna do a little different kind of production here, right, Steve?
Yeah, we'll talk about it once we get on the air.
Okay. Okay, so we're on Facebook. And, X
Yeah, I
and
don't know if X works or not, but
I don't know.
we'll try
It
it.
says that Gilmore Gang is hosting the next live, so maybe it's just
No, it's
audio.
fine.
I don't know.
I think we're already
Okay, let me
paying
go
for it.
check LinkedIn. Okay. Um, like I said, not going to check LinkedIn, but I think we're recording. So, Steve, would you like to get started?
Yeah.
All right.
Ready?
Um, yeah, and just to check with you, we've got two people, but I'll still do some switching, right?
Yeah, you should start with me.
Let's start with you. Okay, and mute is off, and we're gonna go in 3, 2, 1, and
Hi, Steve Gilmore here. This is a different version of the Gilmore Gang, one that we are inaugurating in I forget what the word would be, but having something to do with the vice presidential pick, which is
oh,
probably been made by now, but which we don't know. And there's a lot that we're interested in because once that occurs, there's nothing that stands in the way of the election other than maybe Trump will quit.
no, no,
No,
that's not gonna happen. But once the vice presidential candidate is picked, the race is off. It's going. It's zooming.
are we bumping the
I didn't think so.
desk? Just okay. So we're going to do something for the next few shows. We're going to be doing not the usual roundtable Gilmore Gang, but more of uh, what you're seeing right now, and we'll be bringing in uh, people on a one-on-ones, interviews, discussions, but we're going to try and stay away from the full roundtable. Some of our gang members are not available for some,
Summer.
yeah, the summer months and like that.
Yeah.
So, Tina, what do you got on your plate there?
My plate.
Yes,
Well, I've been very excited
about what?
about, well, the change of events since last we did a Gilmore Gang, and I know this is not Gilmore Gang
Yeah, it's a
exactly,
Gilmore Gang. It's just
but
not the Gilmore Gang.
last we did, Biden was still running,
Biden.
and
Oh, yes, the vice president.
now we have a whole new situation.
So people know this, right? You'd have to be somewhat disconnected to not be aware of the change in the ticket.
Probably most people know it. I'd say that there are some people out there that Maybe just don't pay attention till the end. And this isn't the end, this is the beginning. And just let me say this. I think I like the pace of this better. I kind of like getting the candidate much later than we usually do. It just seems I don't know if that part of it also kind of boosts the excitement. We only have 92 days now or something like that. So we've got like 3 months and this is over.
Yeah, well, I wish the Republican convention had been held in similar circumstances so that I could have completely avoided it.
Well,
Yeah, no, I don't like those people. Let's be clear.
yeah.
No, they're not my
Look,
they're
we're
not my friends.
right. Some of the things that they stand for are just not something that we would be voting for. Um, Not everything, but a lot of it. So
Well, I'm hoping that they'll. I mean, the problem is that the media is all Republicans.
it's not
Oh
true.
no, it's totally true.
Okay.
I
Okay.
mean, Lawrence O'Donnell, I don't think is a Republican, but
The media is not all Republicans.
okay, so
Let's just
Nicole
get
Wallace is a
she
Republican.
used to be and she's not
Oh,
now.
she's totally, and you're jiggling.
Yeah.
Yeah, or maybe it's me. Let's see who else. Everybody that we ever see on
What
SNBC is
what's the
either a
point? Even
lapsed
if it
Republican or a Republican
no,
Republican.
you're talking about two people. I know who you're talking about Nicole Wallace and Joe Scarborough.
Hmm. I hadn't even thought of that. But yes, Mika, I don't know that she's a Republican. And and then all the guests, they're all
No,
Republicans.
they're not.
Well,
Okay.
except
And
for the
no,
former senator from
no,
Missouri.
I'm not going to do this with you. They're not all
What do you
Republicans.
mean you're
What
not going to do
what
this?
do you really want to say about them?
I said it. There's too many Republicans and not enough.
Speaking of
Uh,
Republicans, it seems like
how
I
about
heard
independents? Yeah.
that there are a number of Republican uh Congress people, I think it was Congress people who are not going to support the Republican candidate.
Yeah, but
That's different.
I
That is different.
I know you think so.
I think so.
Okay.
Mhm.
I think it's a rounding error in terms of it's like Buttigieg being the VP.
He's got a chance.
Oh yeah,
I'd
he's
be
one of the
fine with him.
finalists. I like the guy. He's great. But are they really going to do that?
Mhm.
I
I think that there are lots of
I
reasons
think
to
it's
go
the
for Buttigieg.
second possibility. The first one, we know who that is,
I think
Shapiro.
Josh Shapiro is probably it.
Yeah, they're
I'm putting
they're
I'm throwing my ante in the pot
this
or
is where a
whatever.
lot
I'm
of
betting on
the
Shapiro.
Democrats, a lot of Democrats are trying to figure out how to not support Shapiro.
Uh, okay.
Okay. Now, there's been an interesting show that I've been watching. I don't know much about the guy who's the host of it, other than that he used to be in a partnership with what's that guy's name who he was on MSNBC this morning. He's one of the co-hosts of The Circus, which is a show I've only seen once.
Oh gosh. Oh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, he's really
Okay.
smart.
Yeah.
And this guy, I believe, got into some trouble in his career with uh, some issues that I don't want to malign him about because I'm not sure specifically what the situation is. But he was the two of them are no longer partners. And he's doing this thing on Substack and on a network that he's put together
Mhm.
that is, basically it's called two way or something like that. And it's basically the premise is they're going to talk equally about the perspectives of both the good guys and the bad guys. And I'll leave it to, my opinion as to which is which.
Hmm.
Yeah. And it's uh I'm the Republican guy on the show is Sean Spicer, who I uh
Oh.
have zero
Oh.
uh respect
I,
for,
yeah.
given what he does, but he's pretty good on the show, although if he feels that he doesn't have, if he hasn't given enough to the cause, he'll basically filibuster it until he's gotten his angle in, regardless of whether or not Mark Halperin, who is the host, sort of gives him the floor. And then there's a Democrat who's pretty good. And then they bring in people who are in the Zoom calls.
Hmm.
And today's show included Newt Gingrich.
Wow.
Yeah, not my favorite person either, but it's still it's not perfect, but it's a perspective that you have to respect. That they're small enough that they can. What was that thing, Stuart Smiley? I'm not honest enough, or what was that?
I'm
Uh,
good enough.
yeah,
I'm,
yeah, that
yeah,
guy.
that one.
Um, yeah, it's kind of like that. And it's, if you compare that to everybody else who isn't saying what they think on the networks, or isn't allowed to, NBC had a little problem there with Morning Joe, where they made him afternoon Joe.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, yeah. Oh, don't come in until the afternoon when we're not on the air.
Oh,
That happened.
that was interesting.
Yeah, Mika was not happy, and
Yeah, neither was
I'm with
Joe.
her. Well, I don't know because Joe
They
wasn't there.
that they both were not there, Steve.
So I'd like to. I can see that we have
A friend of
a
ours.
friend of ours,
Yeah.
one of the Gillmor gang, in the waiting room,
Zooming in.
and
Would you like to say hello?
yeah, I'd like to ask him a couple of
All
questions.
right, here
So
we go.
let's bring him in. Yeah, that's him. I don't see the hat. I
Well,
don't see the head either.
no.
Uh,
Hmm.
there he
Here we
is.
go.
Can you hear me? Nod if you can hear me.
Which way? That way or
Not
Either way.
not is always up and down.
So, have you been listening at all to what we've been talking about?
how could I?
Ah.
Um, oh,
Uh,
you can't hear in the waiting room. Oh, no, on your system, you can hear the show when you're in the waiting room.
Nope.
Oh, I've been on your show and I've heard what's going on.
No, well, that's StreamYard. You're in
Yeah,
an actual
that's what I'm
virtual
saying.
green room. I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
think the Zoom green room is the same as this
Yeah. Well,
space.
see, we need some of that. So maybe we'll have to make a deal with your network too.
You
So
Monty Hall?
yeah, come on down.
Let's make
Oh,
a
it's the wrong
deal.
song.
Let's stay on up.
Right one.
I
So
like those glasses, Tina.
Well, thanks. They're my dollar store glasses.
Yeah, you're in
They,
South Carolina, so they have
they,
lots of those.
they do. Yeah, Mr. Georgia. I'm
and what do
sure
you
that there's
call
a
it? What do
few
you
of those
call
in your
South
state
Carolina?
too.
South Kakalaka?
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a thing. I don't know.
Yeah. Um, But you're in Georgia, the state that chooses the president.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know if that's
that would be
really
nice.
the case.
Well, I mean, since what's her name has been in
What's her name?
Kamala, since
Kamala.
she's been
You're kind of close, I guess.
Kamala.
Kamala.
Not
Comma.
See,
La.
yeah, not Camelot, but
Comma.
Kamala.
La.
Kamala.
since her
Kamalama Ding
to
Dong.
the top of the ticket,
Yes.
which has almost happened. Um,
It's happened.
no, I
Well,
think
she is at the
they have
top.
to finish up the voting, virtual voting, before she is the official nominee.
I thought she crossed some threshold over the
Yeah, she
weekend.
did. I mean,
She crossed the threshold, but
somebody put their hand up and said, "Yeah, she did it."
maybe the actual official tally and recording hasn't happened. That's
Well,
what
that
that's
happens at
what
the
I think.
convention, right? Or doesn't that kind of stuff
Well, they
happen?
ratify it, I think.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think it's done beforehand, actually.
But see, now I've forgotten the question.
Yeah.
This is the problem with the interview format.
By the
So
way,
I
while you're
have to
thinking,
come up with a question.
I just
Yep.
want you to know, this is a brand new Rams hat. I never just got it over the
Oh.
weekend. Has never been on any of my video stuff. So I broke it out specifically for whatever this is.
Rams hat, and it's throwing the white balance off, man. That thing is white.
It is pure white.
So
It is very white.
since
Oh yeah, there's the
Kamala
It's white on white,
became
so
the
it's-
apparent nominee,
Mhm.
Georgia suddenly is in play.
Of course.
That's what they say.
No,
You know,
I totally believe that. It's sort of like 2008 all over again.
I mean, look,
what happened in
you
2008?
think black women aren't going to come out and support Kamala? That's what made the Georgia election the last time. They're going to do it this time. They might even do it better.
I think they actually there's more enthusiasm than with Biden, at least.
Yeah.
I mean, they were motivated to vote against Trump. They're still motivated to vote against Trump, but now there's a significant amount of voting for Kamala that mixes along with the voting against Trump.
Right. Now, the older black women are going to get their daughters to vote.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even know if they have to do much. I think it looks like the young folks are kind of enthusiastic on their own about her. I mean,
Yeah, you buy that, right?
I'm buying it.
Yeah.
And I don't usually buy a lot of stuff, so
Yeah, that's why I asked. This interview format has
unless it's on sale or something.
So, all right, so that's a change. I'm not sure if it's real or not.
Wait a minute, let me ask you something. So you haven't noticed any legitimate difference in the last 2+ weeks between when Biden bowed out and
Enthusiasm wise, is that what you're
yeah,
asking?
yeah,
Yeah,
everything wise, even the
but
trends of the polls.
as soon as the enthusiasm started, then there was this, wait till the sugar high is gone.
That's you.
Yeah, that's me. I am worried about that.
You're still looking out for the blue salami, right?
No, no, no. That's
Janet.
another guy's theory. And he won't bet me. He
He's
keeps,
smart. He's smart enough not to do that.
well, that's
You
true.
gotta keep your head up enough so I can see it without your if you're gonna keep the hat on, you gotta keep your eyes up.
Okay, how about that?
No, I said if you're gonna keep your hat on.
Now I can keep my head down, which is all we can really do in this election is keep our head down. What?
Keep your head.
I can't see
You
anything.
should be a little more optimistic.
I am optimistic. I'm just realistic.
Here's what's gonna happen. Okay, Brent, do you have any thoughts about who Kamala is going to announce tomorrow morning?
Oh, it's tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning.
That's what NBC, who I don't believe, says.
All right,
Right.
before I answer that, I made the mistake of watching Morning Joe this morning.
Mm.
It's unwatchable. They're cutting each other off. I mean, it's so many like
So what's wrong?
collisions. Like they're
Why are they cutting themselves off?
Some days are like that.
I don't know, but they can't let each other like finish a sentence before they jump in and they're trying to be funny.
Oh,
Oh,
well, the trying to be funny problem.
Here's the problem is they were off for a week. So they're sort of chomping at the bit to like get their stuff in. I understand that.
No, I think it's
yeah.
more deep,
They do
deep,
that sometimes,
deeper than
though.
that.
Just, yeah, they're married, you know. You know,
Are you sure?
they do that.
Have you seen the certificate? Hey,
Are you
I'm
married?
marrying.
Have you seen your certificate?
Yeah, actually,
Where
many
is
years
it?
ago. I don't know.
Yeah, okay. Doesn't count.
That's what she says. So,
Did I jump off of this at this
well,
point?
you started it. So, all right. So,
Oh,
I
my VP
actually
pick,
am interested in the.
who I think's gonna get the VP nod.
Yes. What's your gut telling you?
Can I say who I? Well, it doesn't really matter. I don't have a who it should be because I really don't care if these guys that she's kind of made the finalists into. I don't see any problem with any of them. But
Yeah.
if I had to choose who I think she's gonna pick, all of a sudden I started hearing all this blowback about Shapiro,
Hmm,
which is interesting because that makes me believe
just coincidence.
maybe she was really leaning his way, and then all of a sudden you hear all this blowback.
Well, that's
Uh,
how it works. If she's not leaning
Send out a
some
trial
way,
balloon.
then why blow back?
yeah, maybe there was a trial balloon sent out, like yeah, and
Okay,
it
so
came back.
you're cutting to the headline here.
Jeez, I feel
So
like
you
you
don't
like this
think you
Joe
don't think
Scarborough here or
it's
something.
Let
I
me
think it
finish.
will be. I think it'll be Shapiro. I think.
excellent.
Not that I find anything wrong with what's his name, Welts or something out of Minnesota, and
Yeah, it's just like who is that guy?
but
Well,
he seems to be really good when you like actually
yeah.
Yeah,
hear him.
but
But I
he's
don't know
like
who he is.
he's Shapiro light.
Okay, well, I really should be voting for him since he's from Prince's state, but I'll leave that aside. And Kelly, it seems like you're hearing less and less about him and more about Shapiro, which kind of makes you think it's Shapiro, unless they're doing like a fake out, and it's really going to be like Bernie Sanders or something, which I don't think will
Yeah, that'll
happen.
be a fake out.
That would not be the generational shift we're looking for here.
Well,
No.
I mean, that would be kind of interesting, actually. But
No,
just because of the
no,
independent,
no,
he's not
no,
a Democrat,
no. We're doing a generational shift. The vice president has to be there to take over for the president should something happen. And we have kind of said we don't want 80-year-olds doing that. That's what just happened.
What, taking over? After a period of instability caused by hormones in young people.
What?
I'm
No,
just
no,
giving you the
Steve.
other point
No,
of view.
no, that's why we're not going to go with some, and maybe even we don't go with someone who looks older, is kind of what I was
Well,
thinking.
I think that's what
And I think
I
that
agree with that.
Mark Kelly looks older, a little older than his years, and
How
I
old
don't
is he?
Yeah, well, we don't even have a
I
space
don't know how
program
old he
anymore.
is. But
He got to be in his at least his mid late 50s, right?
I think more 60.
I would, yeah.
Well, Shapiro looks like he's in his what mid 40s or something.
How old is
I
Mark
think he's
Kelly?
about 50. I think Shapiro is early.
He's 60 years old.
Okay,
Kelly is
that
60. Okay.
sense.
Well, so he's roughly the same age as Kamala then.
Yeah, but he looks older, don't you think?
Well,
But
he's been
yeah.
on the moon, for God's sake.
And
Has he?
Kamala does not look
I
anywhere
don't know.
near her age.
Yeah, she
No.
look. Yeah, we should all look so good like Kamala. Um,
Okay, so you've
and
we've ruled out Mr. Dr. Pete.
Yeah, I think she needs to go with somebody like a governor or a border state senator, and somewhere that she ain't winning Ohio. Let's put it like that. That ain't gonna happen. So
And by the
Well,
way,
who's from Ohio?
Joshua David Shapiro is 51.
51. Okay, yeah, that's a good balance.
Mm-hmm. But he's, nicely younger than Kamala.
Yeah,
Um,
he's good on the stump.
and it definitely says we're turning the page generationally. Now, some of these other guys, I don't know, would pull that off.
Well,
Well, the
Watts, or
Minnesota
whatever
guy doesn't look.
he's
He's older than Kamala, right?
The
I think so.
Waltz, um, I don't think by much.
Okay, uh so let's actually, cut to the chase. She's got about 4 hours to go to resist this attempt to get him off the ticket. Shapiro.
Okay. Well, if she's announcing tomorrow morning, she knows who she's getting. There's no real way to back out at this point.
Well, if you were listening to some of the
By the
pundits
way,
who
well,
are backing away, and then there's John Fetterman, the senator from wherever.
No
well,
way.
so
She's not going that route.
But he's been
Walt,
very no, no, he's been
Waltz is
very negative about Shapiro.
Shapiro. Waltz is also 60.
Yeah. So Kelly, Waltz, and Kamala are all about the same age.
Right. Shapiro's younger. And now, and my other pick, who I don't think it will be, but I think
Mayor Pete.
could have been really great, is Mayor Pete, Secretary Pete
He's
Buttigieg.
he's polished, but he's still really young. Was he like 39 or something?
I don't know his age. I
He's
can
got to
look it
be
up.
more than 35 because that's what the
He's more than 35, but he still looks a little green for being the president. I'll put it like that. Although he's very intelligent and articulate
as
and all
they
that stuff.
say, he's a very intelligent person that speaks well, uh, when talking to uh, you know, Republicans. And he's on Fox a fair amount and does a good job there. So yeah, he's great. But when you've got the whole election riding on whether or not the Democrats win Pennsylvania or not, do you really say, well, we're just kind of kidding on this?
See, I don't know if the whole shooting match is still riding solely on Pennsylvania.
No, but if they win Pennsylvania, I mean, there is a reason why uh, Trump is bad mouthing. The only one he's bad mouthing is Shapiro.
I didn't even hear him
Trump's bad
badmouth
mouthing
Shapiro. I didn't know that.
Shapiro.
Well, maybe the vice presidential pick on the Republican side is.
Oh, as I like
Oh,
to call him, JV Dance. I don't care what he
Yeah,
has
what
to
does
say.
that mean? Is that like
He's
junior varsity?
exactly. So
Yeah, that's a good one.
by the
I
way,
just
Mayor
switched the D and
Pete,
the V.
42.
42. Oh, he's so well, I think Teddy Roosevelt was the youngest president ever, and he wasn't elected at that time. I think he was 41, and then Kennedy or is it Clinton now that is the youngest elected president, 42 or 43 or something like that.
Well,
Uh,
Kennedy was pretty young.
I think he was 42. Wait, he was born in 1917 and 1960. He was probably 42 when he was elected. Uh, So I guess technically speaking, he would fit in. What Clinton might have been younger than that. I'm not sure. Um, so I mean, in that regard, he wouldn't be breaking any age records or anything, since we've already had some rather young presidents. But I don't know. I just think I don't like an 80-year-old president. I don't think I like a 40-year-old president either at this point. I want somebody that's got a little gray hairs in there a little bit.
So do you think that there's this kind of sweet spot for the age, the age of a president? You think that there's some wisdom and some life challenges and experiences that have to be met with that age
I
before you can
like
be a good president?
I think maybe it's experience, and like when you're a governor of a state, in a substantial state, let's put it like that, that means you've gone through some stuff. And I think that's important. Whereas even if you're a senator, you're not your state isn't really relying on you for anything. Your state is relying on you to represent them in Congress, I guess, but
Yeah,
not
well,
to like.
that's why I think that Kelly is really not going to be on the ticket. Is that would require uh, somebody replacing him, and I believe that the governor of what state is he?
Arizona's got a
Arizona.
Democratic governor now. Remember, she beat Ricky Lake, even though Ricky Lake doesn't remember.
Well, I don't know what the problem is, but given the you know
Did I say Ricky
control of
Lake?
the Senate, that's not a good idea.
I didn't mean Ricky Lake. I mean, what's her name?
Veronica Lake.
Oh,
I forgot. I literally forget that
I'd vote for
crazy woman's
Veronica
name.
Lake, sure.
Harry.
Carrie Lake. That's it. Ricky Lake. Yeah, it's a lake.
Ricky, Veronica, Harry.
Any more lakes out there? Champlain? I don't
Lucy,
know.
Lucy. Okay, so
So you don't, so you
so
don't,
you don't think that there's going to be a problem with the Democrats often, in my experience, seem to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory, and I think they would do that if they don't go with what's his name,
Shapiro.
Josh.
Good old Josh.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that cut and dry. I don't think it's this guy or you lose. I think they'll do
No,
fine.
if you don't go with the guy that has a 65% approval rating as governor of the state, uh, what's the problem?
Like I said, I don't think they're
I
gonna
think that's a
lose
political loser, that one.
if they choose one or the other. I think it makes a little bit more sense for them to go with Josh, but I wouldn't be. Look, I think the way that everybody lined up behind her, as long as she doesn't pick an ass, they're gonna do the exact same thing when whoever she announces tomorrow. There's
There's
that.
no, I don't think that there's a real wrong answer in this multiple choice test. That's the thing. These are all pretty likable people. I think there may be some, we don't really know what Ms. Harris's stance is on the Middle East and about Israel in particular.
Well,
And
it
I
seems
think
she's
that
not as I don't what's the right way. Biden is, I think, to the right of her when it comes to her stance on Israel. Not to say that she's some kind of bleeding lefty on it, but it feels like Biden is a little bit more staunch about it, even with Netanyahu being there, than where she is. I think she's a little further to the left.
Yeah, but
well, it's
that's
hard to read the
opens
tea
up
leaves
that
on that.
opens up a problem in terms of the campaign against the Republican.
Well, but as you said, if she picks Josh, I think and that's why he's getting dinged on right now. He's a little more pro-Israel than apparently some on the left are comfortable with. Maybe she balances or he balances her out with that, and there's some
Right.
kind of
But,
a,
the
you know,
progressives in the Democratic Party are,
they're not going to do anything because they know what's at stake. The way that they coalesce around her, like I said, she'd have to drop a grenade and pick Donald Trump Jr. Or RFK Jr. or just pick a junior, and that's the only way I could see real dissension among the ranks happening. By the way, did you hear that
well,
weird
I hope you're
R?
right.
Did you hear
That's
that
what
weird
I'm at.
RFK story about him
Oh my God.
with
The
the bear
bear?
thing? What?
Oh, geez. Really?
That
Like,
was the one part of the Morning Joe that I enjoyed was they cut to Jonathan Lemire after 10
That
minutes of this, and
he had a horrified.
he's like,
Is that story true? Because that's
well,
bizarre.
evidently he has a
Or should I
video
say bears are?
released.
Oh,
So
he got a video release? Oh my
yeah, he
God.
released a video about this. And then there's Roseanne in the background.
If it
Hey,
wasn't
come on.
bizarre enough. Oh my God.
it's, this guy, I don't know. It feels like he's around for like, I wouldn't call it comic relief because it's not that funny.
No, it's
It's just,
totally not
it's,
funny.
it's, it's really gross.
I mean, it's so bizarre, it is kind of funny.
It's
I mean,
bizarre. Are
and
people gonna vote for someone who's just that
why
off?
would you drive a dead bear and drop it off at Central Park? I don't even understand this stuff.
I think
Where do you get a hold of a dead bear? That's the thing I don't
I
understand.
think RFK's votes completely go away with Kamala in the race. I think people were just looking for an alternative.
No, he's
I
down to
think
about
that
2%, which is a good thing.
it's not gonna be an issue. So let's forget. Maybe he's gonna go away.
Okay, so now let's go to the other side, where nobody
Dark
wants to
side.
go.
The
Uh-oh.
dark
Yeah,
side.
The dark side.
which is yeah, this is all great, but the leader right now is Trump.
The leader of what?
The possible winner in November.
Oh,
I would say they're pretty much a dead heat at this point, but that's just me.
well, it feels like it is a statistical dead heat. He still does have some leads and has some leads in those states that we're very concerned about. But Kamala has picked up a lot of that gap, and she still has a long way to go. I mean, we haven't even had the Democratic convention yet, and that should and usually does brings people together, gets people excited.
The
Lord
convention
knows that the
bounces
Democratic
a myth.
convention will have more interesting celebrities
I
and
doubt
things
it.
like that. Oh, yes, they will, of
I was
course.
saying this yesterday. There's going to be such a difference. There's going to be a real stagecraft at this thing. Like,
You
Oh,
were
we're not going
saying
to
this
get.
yesterday. What
Yeah, I believe it.
you were talking to yourself? I mean,
Well, I was talking to myself. I was like, yeah, self.
yeah.
I really do believe. No, I mean, look, they rolled out the Kid Rock and Hulk Hogan. I don't think the Democrats are going to roll out anything resembling that. So I think might see a Beyonce sighting.
are they
You
going to
know,
have John Lennon? Do you think?
John Lennon.
Yeah.
I
Imagine.
hope they don't. Oh, I thought you were talking about literally. I was like, damn, I don't think I want to go that far with that, but
Oh, yeah,
Who?
yeah.
no, they do these things pretty good, pretty well. So you're gonna roll out this. You're gonna
Do
roll
we
out first
have
of
a
all
list?
the Obamas.
Have we heard yet who's going to be there?
No, I think don't they try to
Keep it
keep
tight.
wraps on that stuff? Yeah, so the
Well,
surprise
that's
factor.
smart because conventions are boring as hell anyway.
This one will be exciting.
Mm,
I have a suspicion that you're right, Tina. I think
yeah, sugar
look,
high,
look
sugar
back.
high.
No, look back to 4 years ago. The main thrust for the convention was really almost 100% anti-Trump, and some warm and fuzzy stuff around Joe, and he's generally a decent guy. But there was no real, you know, buzz or electricity. I'm feeling there's going to be some electricity. I might be completely wrong, but I have a suspicion there's going to be a lot more heat coming out of this convention for Kamala than what Joe got. And I think we have to harken back to Obama's first one, not the second one, but the first convention. For
And
example.
so the convention's what, 2 weeks away now?
I think so, something like that.
Okay, so we're about 2 weeks away. We're going to get another rush of excitement, or at least, like, okay, here we are when we get the vice presidential pick tomorrow.
Yeah.
We'll ride
So
that
that we'll have
until
known that for like a week.
we'll have that until the convention. Then we'll ride another bit of a high. And then we've got about a month and a half to sort of bobble around.
No,
Well,
but we've got one
happened, but-
big, potentially gray cloud hanging over all of this. And I don't know if you looked at what happened on Wall Street today, but it's down 1,000 points or something like that.
Yeah, bad.
The low job creation numbers, people are getting a little antsy, a little anxious. And that's the one thing that could take some of the electricity out of the air out of the whole excitement. But she can't control any of that. And that's the thing that you have to keep an eye on, but you can't do anything about.
And she won't be able to control that kind of stuff when she's president either, and has to deal with it. And
yeah, but she's running against the biggest troll. So any little thing he can grab onto, he's going to do it. That's why you gotta keep your eye on that kind of stuff.
I'm hoping that stuff that he does, people start to feel tired of it finally.
Yeah.
I mean, we have heard
9 years so
now
far.
for 9 years,
Yeah,
right?
and the media, they really can't stand any of this.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but
I wouldn't either.
I would say that, at some point you get tired of antics. You get tired of things that don't really have a substance, or
Oh, you've seen data to support that?
look, I think that vacuous
data.
name calling or pet name creations, and challenging somebody on their race and stuff.
Oh, that's a good one. Is he going to debate?
Is he going to debate? That's a good question.
I don't think he is. I
agree with you.
I think he's literally afraid.
He's terrified.
Afraid.
Yeah.
Super afraid.
I mean, he said that he was going to testify in his trial. He said it for months and then he didn't do it.
No,
which he has a right
I'll
not to do.
What the best to get inside his head.
No thanks.
Yeah, it's not a place you want to be, but he does a lot of projection, right? So the other day he said, Kamala, she can't even make a whole sentence. You can't even understand anything coming out of her mouth. And I'm thinking, oh my God.
Yeah.
He's talking about himself again.
Every day I think I share some of this with the gang on our text message thing. There's always that's why I love YouTube. There's always these guys out there that are combing through watching all these speeches he makes and completely just pulling out all the glitches and where he can't even think of the word, and he tries to deflect and go somewhere else, or he just starts babbling on and slurring his words. And he's trying to basically bring her down to what he's doing, because if anybody looks at her talk versus him talk, who's going to walk away thinking who can't talk?
Yeah. Right. And the debates, you cannot bring your teleprompter in with you. You cannot bring someone in
Or
your
your
hearing aid.
audience, your
You can.
crowd. Yeah. You can't bring your own mediator or moderator or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
You sure about that?
Well,
You think he's just going to now he has said though he'll debate her if it's on Fox.
as
Do
I
you
said,
think we should take him up on it?
No.
it-
What's the
I-
harm to her?
What, of not taking him up?
No,
what's
what's
the
the
help to
harm
her?
of doing it on Fox?
What's the help to her? Because it's not like it's going to be a fair fight. First of all, it's going to be like Sean
Have a
Hannity.
big
Uh,
crowd.
yeah, it's going to be a completely MAGA crowd. They're going to work with him. Or these are the questions we're going to ask you. Here's how you can position yourself. I mean,
Well, they don't
it'll
have to
be
tell
completely.
Fox what to do. Fox knows how to do this.
Yeah, exactly. Aren't they part of his campaign at this point? So that's not necessarily really a fair. If I were her, I'd be like, look, we could go any legitimate news source.
Hmm.
There's no. I would not say MSNBC or NBC. I mean, CNN is probably as good as you're gonna get
Let's have
for.
They already did
BBC
that.
period.
Yeah,
That was the first one was CNN. So here's what I think will happen. She will negotiate the live audience out.
And go to Fox?
Yeah,
Oh,
because she doesn't care about Fox.
that's interesting.
I don't
You
think
know, the
that's a good thing
moderators,
for her.
they
What?
can't interfere that
I
much.
couldn't hear.
Just to
Well, please let
Couldn't hear
Tina
his
finish.
response. I can hear you. I can't hear him. Could you repeat what you said?
I can't even remember what I
Okay.
said at this point.
Like he says. I don't know what he said. Go ahead, Tina.
gone. It's gone.
What?
Gone.
Oh, so both of
Gone.
you have forgotten what you
Yeah, that's
said.
what happens.
Okay. Well,
So Steve thinks that uh Harris will debate Trump through Fox hosting, but no audience. Brent says no debate's going to happen because Trump's just too scared any place. I think they have to debate. I think if he just stonewalls this, he's just further signing his burial.
The only way I could see
yeah,
him really debating is if by the time a month out from here, he's losing so much energy and support that it's almost going to be like a Hail Mary for him.
Yeah,
That's the only way I could see it happening.
yeah, that's actually what I think it's going to be anyway. I don't know that it's going to take all that long to feel that way. And I think the tactic, or I think the strategy that he'll use is that he's going to he's going to do whatever he can to rattle her. And there's probably some way to rattle her. He'll just pray for some outburst or something that will scab her a little bit. And he did a great job of like irritating the shit out of Hillary when he walked around the stage and loomed over her and all that crap. He'll find, and he does find ways of really irritating women. He's good at that.
Yeah, yeah.
So
okay.
I could see him
So you
doing it.
guys think it's going to happen, and
Yeah, I think it's going to happen.
I don't, even though I said I did.
I don't think he wants it to happen, but I think he's going to be told that
No,
he
he
better get
wants
out
it to
there if he
happen.
wants to do it.
He just
wants to
doesn't.
win.
He just wants to be in control, and he's probably going to get that too.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
don't think
it's like
she.
Biden said, that they turned his mic off, but he still was distracting him.
Hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
let's face it, Biden was distracted by a lot of stuff going on there.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
Well, I think that's where the sugar high comes from. Is that all we have to do is remember back about 3 weeks and then go, "Ugh."
See, the circumstances are so gravely different. I mean, like I said, my sister is not a very political person, but she turned into that debate. She said within the first 3 minutes she couldn't watch anymore, and that told me a lot of because I didn't. I to this day I haven't watched a second of that debate. Um, but when she said that, I was like, oh my God, it must have been a train wreck. And I mean, I think it was so bad that the sugar high you're talking about, that it's because of how bad it was. Everybody was pretty much writing it off. And then this happened seemingly overnight. And yeah, maybe there is a bit of a sugar rush, so to speak. But now the sugar rush is going on 2.5 weeks. I don't think sugar rushes last that long. And Tina said tomorrow there's going to be like a potential another injection of sugar, right, for lack of a better, what are they eating donuts or something? I don't know, but there's going to be a little bit more. But like I said, the only overarching potential issue is something that's completely out of her control, and you know, I don't know how you deal with something
Yeah,
like that.
I disagree about the impact of the stock market because uh, the stock market goes up and it goes down, and then it goes up again, and then it goes down. And as somebody said on Morning Joe today, I think it was, people don't realize that it's a long. Oh, it was Newt Gingrich on this other show. People don't realize it's really a long time between now and the election.
Oh, in that a lot can happen between now and then. Of course it can. Of course.
It's
But
gonna
you
have to
know,
take something big though, right?
the
Something really
biggest
big.
change is what Brent was talking about, which is instead of this being an election where you're voting against somebody, you now have reason to vote for someone on the Democrat side. And I think Biden was turning into, or had definitely turned into, someone that we were going to vote for, but not be super happy about. Not that he hasn't been a good president, because he has been, in my opinion. But again, age and yeah, age. I think we all have, most people these days have had experiences with aging relatives, with aging friends, and
I've had a lot of experience with aging people myself.
you become very familiar with the trajectory. And the trajectory is not up and to the right, it's down to the left. So we now have a candidate who people have to get to know a little more, but I think that they are going to be a bit turned on by her. The ones that haven't met her yet haven't really explored her, and she becomes a person to vote for, someone who can take the our party's platform and push it, and do things with it, and bring people, get a great cabinet, get a great, team around her. I'm scared of Trump's team because you know what? Uh those adults that were around before with him, they're not there anymore.
Hmm.
They weren't there then,
They
by the
weren't
way.
much there, but there were some of them. He had a vice president who he doesn't even talk to now. I mean, come on.
It won't even endorse them.
Yeah. So There's a lot of
Yeah,
people
that's
who don't
really
work for
affected
him.
a lot of the Republican Party, hasn't it?
No, I'm just saying, think of all the people that were around him in the first go around. If they're not in jail or fighting to stay out of jail, they are completely not behind him, let's say. All
Right.
those people. I mean, and then he talks about he picks the greatest people and all that nonsense. Well, if that's true, they don't like him much, and they weren't that great to begin with. And then JV Dance, that's his other pick. I mean, come
Yeah.
on,
Yeah.
let's be serious here.
Yeah. His first move in this election year, his first big decision as a potential president again, and he picks Vance, who is pretty much a kook.
Yeah, I wouldn't underestimate Vance.
I don't I don't underestimate him, but I estimate that he's a kook. And he completely flip-flops on things. Completely.
Oh, you mean he's a politician and he's a liar? Oh, that's something new.
Well, you know what? Politicians certainly can change their mind. They certainly can change their opinions. They can live long enough to understand that, something that some notion that they held before doesn't hold up anymore. Um, but it's different what happened with Vance. I mean, he was calling Trump Hitler.
I was going to say, how many presidents had running mates that compared them to that guy? I mean,
I
it
think
doesn't
this is
happen
the
very
first.
often. Yeah.
But
I,
as Trump says, the VP doesn't matter.
well,
You
as
know,
Trump
Trump
says,
is Trump is, you can say what you can say about him, and we all have, but he's not stupid in a specific political way. He's quite intelligent, unfortunately.
I don't know about all that. All I'll say is, as Trump would say, fill in the blank doesn't matter. Because he would say that about anybody compared to himself. Nobody matters but him. And as
Well,
long
I,
as,
I agree. I think that, he's running against himself, which is the good thing.
uh,
All right.
we'll see.
Well,
He got
uh,
lucky in
the
2016.
good
I'm
thing
I'm
about
saying that. I'm saying he got lucky in 2016 because the absolute worst person to run against him, the only one that I think wouldn't have beaten him was the one that he got, Hillary. Because people, for whatever reason, hate her. I mean, there's like visceral hate for that lady, and I don't know why. Because I had never had any hard feelings either way about her, but some people really hate her, and he was able to take full advantage of that and somehow roll what, a pair of sixes the only way he could have gotten in, and that's how he got in. He's not going to
well,
have that this time
my
around.
question is why did she need a personal private mail server?
You're asking the
I don't
wrong
have a
person.
personal mail server.
I don't know.
Okay.
But once again, I don't even think that would have been a big deal if it wasn't her. There was built-in hate for
I
her to begin with, and she gave him enough stuff that he could throw at her that works because the ingrown hate was already there. There's not that this time around. Nobody really hates Kamala. Maybe they don't know her yet enough to hate her. I don't know, but there is no ingrown hate like that for her.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, well, the
You're
good
right.
news is that starting tomorrow morning,
Mm.
uh, all the characters they're going to have
I'm
uh,
waking up early.
their script, and we're gonna go.
Woo!
We're
And it
going.
couldn't happen enough faster, except for any of the trials that will never happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, too bad. It's kind of looking forward to that. What was that? I don't know. Someone was talking about I think it was a debate schedule that was going to be sort of on top of the sentencing schedule or something like that, like the same day. And I was like, ooh, Ooh, that's an exciting day.
That would have
But
been
I don't think
great.
it's gonna happen.
Could you imagine that? A split screen of that, a multi-view of that, Steve? There you go.
Yeah, earlier in the day he gets sentenced, later in the day he debates.
Yeah.
You don't
That'd be
think they'd
great.
have anything to talk about, do you?
Maybe they ought to do the debate before the sentencing. I don't know how that works.
I think he's going to skate on all the trials.
You know,
When you got the
I
Supreme
just,
Court, backing and filling for
yeah,
you,
well,
come
he's
on.
doing a pretty good job skating, but I think he's gonna have to debate. They're gonna
Okay.
have to
Well,
figure it
there's a
out.
cliffhanger. All right. Well, thanks for being our inaugural interview.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed it.
I don't think I've talked this much on a regular Gilmore Gang ever.
Yeah,
Well, you
that's
don't.
that's
That's
why
why this is important.
this is a special kind of thing, and can't wait to hear from Dennis about the blue tsunami. Give his perspective.
I'm sure Dennis is back on the blue tsunami wave because he's
No,
got someone to vote for now.
he's being careful,
I
at least in the chat.
I gotta say one last thing though, because
Please.
it does. It was months ago. We were doing a Gilmore Gang, and the subject of Kamala came up then, and there was a lot of negativity. I'll never forget that. It's like, well, she'd be like the worst person to put in there in place of Joe. And I always wondered, why is that? And then when it happened, it was like none, is all positivity. I'm glad that
Well,
it happened
she
like
is.
You
that.
mean
She definitely has
the
been
gang felt
overperforming.
the gang felt that way? The gang was
I don't know
saying,
if the gang felt it or the gang was just representing, saying, well, there's a lot of sentiment out there.
uh-huh.
And I remember saying, well, why is that sentiment out there? What has she ever done for
Mm-hmm.
that sentiment to be there?
Mm-hmm.
So I was glad when it wasn't there when this all happened. It was not the case.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad of it. But
Well,
I always
I don't think that I think it's a moving target. And I think that, I've watched everything that she has said as, much as I can, since the change. And she's been terrific,
I think also
even the weakest thing that she had to say, which was about the outbursts at the black reporter.
the NABJ,
Yeah.
National Black. Yeah.
Um, even that, which was a little careful, which I appreciated, but there was still, a little edge to it.
Well, I
That
think most people, I think what the sentiment I was picking up on was people, and I guess, when you're the vice president, you're not in the forefront. And maybe the last time she was in the forefront was when she was running in 2019, and she made a lot of mistakes. But that's 4 years ago, 5 years ago almost. She's grown a lot. I mean, she's had more experience in doing things and taking charge. And so I don't, maybe there was just that thought of, oh, it's going to be 2019 Kamala. And then when they see where she's at today compared to where she was 5 years ago, maybe that's why there's so much sugar rush and euphoria, because they were thinking they were going to get that, and they got 2024 Kamala, who is way more experienced, way
Matured.
more composed, matured, and
Yeah.
and maybe that's why everybody's a little bit more happier than I originally
Well,
thought.
I would agree. Yeah.
it couldn't have come at a better time.
She's gonna do
Now the
great.
question is, well, it's not
She's
up to
gonna do
her.
great. We gotta work on those swing states. That's what we gotta work on.
Are you guys a swing
I
state
think
now?
I think that the
Yeah, I
VP
think
pick
California is a swing state now.
I think the VP pick is going to be Josh Shapiro, and I think Shapiro's going to bring in Pennsylvania, and I think Pennsylvania will help Michigan. Is Ohio a swing state?
No.
The reason that I
No,
think
no.
Shapiro is going to be a good choice if the Democrats don't run away from it is because if you see him, I've only seen him like 5 times, but everything I've seen him talk about is incredibly uh, active and on target. It's not like he's selling anything. He's just basically it's not Kennedy-esque, but because he's a different person, it's a different time. But Kennedy, the thing to watch with Kennedy was the press conferences, because he wasn't reading from a prompter, and he was funny, and yeah, anybody who can be funny for any length of time is a lot smarter than anybody else. And that's been my experience. So uh, I don't think that Shapiro was that funny, but he just presented this kind of attitude, which was he said something about JV dance, which was um, something about, he said, blah, blah. He said, I don't think he knows what he's about. He
Yeah.
doesn't understand who he is.
Mhm.
And I thought that was just a very smart way of,
It's a
if he did know more about who he was, then Trump wouldn't have picked him.
Well, it's a polite way of saying he's kind of psycho. So, I mean, he doesn't want to say that disparaging thing that I just said.
Hmm.
But he is saying, hey, he doesn't know who he is. He does flip-flop. But he's not using those words. He's just,
Well, he's going to have
making
to.
it, but it's still powerful.
Well, he's going to have to duck the VP debate uh, because if Josh is the opponent, he's going to just mop the floor with him.
Yeah, I could see another instance of a JD fail, and that's Jay Danforth Quayle when he went up against what's that guy's name that called him you weren't Kennedy? I forget the
I know,
gentleman.
but
Lloyd Benson. Lloyd
in
Benson.
retrospect, like in the last 8 years, I've actually watched George W. Bush and said, that guy's not as stupid as I thought.
Mm.
I would say he's being really smart by staying low to the ground, and we never really hear from
Yeah,
him.
no, he's
I think that's a
become
great move.
who? Quayle?
No,
Oh, okay.
W. Oh,
All
Quill, I
right.
don't hear from him
Well,
either, so that's good too. Yeah.
so just we'll inaugurate this inaugural event with thanks to everybody who showed up, and especially those who didn't.
Yeah, I was waiting for that part. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Brent. Thank you to you.
Yeah, that was fun.
All right.
Very
Bye-bye.
cool.
Bye, everyone.
See ya.
I'll turn the stream off.